Joining me now to break down this lawsuit is appellate attorney in Dallas, Chad Ruback. Chad, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Chad, this is the first lawsuit of its kind filed by a state government. How unusual is it for a state attorney general to take on a major pharmaceutical company over a claim that is not yet backed by any strong scientific evidence?
It's quite unusual. There was a lawsuit in New York not that long ago in which a federal judge held that the experts hired by the plaintiff, the experts who were supposed to show this causal connection between Tylenol and all sorts of injuries to the fetus, there was no scientific basis, no qualified scientific basis to support the expert's opinion. So the only time anyone has tried something remotely similar to what Attorney General Paxton has done, it was unsuccessful. Now, that is up on appeal. Things could change, but no one has tried the claims that Attorney General Paxton is currently asserting, which are marketing claims. Attorney General Paxton is asserting that the manufacturers of Tylenol should have disclosed in their marketing these links. But President Trump's own FDA has even said recently that the links between autism and Tylenol have not yet been established. Attorney General Paxton is going to have a really tough road ahead of him in this lawsuit.
Well, Chad, given that that link has not been proven, how risky is this for Ken Paxton's office?
I think it might potentially be helpful to him politically. As you might be aware, Attorney General Paxton is running in the primary coming up in this March up against Senator John Cornyn for senator's seat. Politically, filing this lawsuit might help him in his Republican primary coming up in March because this plays to his base. The people who are going to be voting the Republican primary might be really emboldened by Attorney General Paxton filing this lawsuit on the heels of President Trump's announcement that he believes there's some real link between autism and Tylenol. So I don't believe this suit will ultimately be successful. That being said, it might be successful for Attorney General Paxton politically.
Now, Chad, from a legal standpoint, what does Texas need to prove in order to make this case stick?
Texas would need to prove, Attorney General Paxton would need to prove that there was some duty to market Tylenol in a different way than it was actually marketed, potentially to disclose risks that had not been disclosed. That being said, is the manufacturers of Tylenol did disclose everything they were required to disclose by the FDA at the time. I think that would be a strong defense that could be used by the manufacturers of Tylenol. We turned to the FDA, we got approval for our product. We did the disclosures we were required to do by the FDA. What more did you want us to do? That's what I would be arguing if I were a manufacturer of Tylenol. Attorney General Paxton would need to show that what was done was still not enough, that what was done, even though it might have satisfied the FDA, was still somehow deceptive in marketing. That's going to be a very tough sell to a judge. That being said, Attorney General Paxton filed the lawsuit in a rural East Texas county. Potentially the judge in this rural East Texas county might be a little more friendly to these claims being made than, say, a federal judge in New York would be. I think that it was not a coincidence that that this lawsuit was filed in a rural conservative county in state court, not in federal court. This lawsuit might have more legs in the county in which it was filed, Panola County, East Texas, versus, say, federal court in New York, which is where the other suit was pending.
All right, Chad Ruback, appellate attorney here in Dallas. Thank you so much for your context and expertise.
Thanks for having me.